Good evening. Thanks for staying up late with us tonight. I'm Brooke Buckner here with meteorologist Simone Thomas. Simone, it has been a gloomy and chilly day out there.
Well, we'll get to see a little more sunshine tomorrow, but the trade-off is that we're going to get a very cold start to the day with that lack of cloud cover. We got some frost advisories and freeze warnings in effect across the state from 1 a.m. to 7 a.m. Sunday morning. So you see a good chunk of the state under some type of cold weather alert. We've issued a weather impact advisory due to this because this is the first time we've seen this so far this season. So more details on this and how long this will stick around are coming up in your 11-day outlook.
All right, thank you, Simone. We have breaking news from London tonight. 10 people have been hospitalized after a train stabbing attack on a London-bound train. At least 9 of them have serious injuries. The incident happening near Cambridge with 2 arrests being made. First responders reached the scene around 7:30 local time. According to a witness, a man could be seen with a large knife with blood being found everywhere. Those on board hiding in restrooms, avoiding getting trampled. Stay with THV 11 as we learn more. As the government shutdown approaches the 5-week mark, uncertainty regarding the fate of the SNAP food assistance program and air travel continues. Willie James Inman has more.
On Saturday, President Trump's motorcade was seen entering his golf course in West Palm Beach, Florida. This comes a day after 2 federal judges ordered the Trump administration to tap into contingency funds to continue paying for SNAP, the food assistance program that provides aid to roughly 42 million Americans. The U.S. Department of Agriculture warned SNAP funds would be cut off this weekend if the federal government did not reopen. More than 24 states sued the administration this week to keep SNAP funded. Roughly 1 in 8 Americans rely on SNAP. More than half of recipients are children and the elderly. Other nutritional and education safety net programs could also see funding lapses. Eve Del Real is the president of the Arizona Head Start Association, a federally funded early childhood program.
Families would have to rely then on unlicensed care or relying on family, friends, neighbors to be able to compensate for the loss of this service.
In Houston, a line formed around this food bank. All of this comes as the government shutdown approaches the 5-week mark. Republicans are urging Democrats to support a short-term spending bill that would reopen the government. But Democrats are pushing for an extension to Affordable Care Act subsidies they say are needed to lower health insurance premiums. The shutdown also impacting air travel, with air traffic controllers now working without pay. Several airports are seeing staffing shortages that led to significant flight delays at least a dozen major U.S. airports on Friday afternoon and evening. Willie James Inman, CBS News, West Palm Beach, Florida.
No matter where you go, Starbucks coffee is just about everywhere. And with the holiday season right around the corner, things are expected to get even busier. However, challenges could come to the business with the potential of a future strike. The major issue at hand, finalizing a fair union contract. This breaks down to improved staffing, better hours, take-home pay, and on-the-job protections. Benton could be one of 60 cities across the country with possible picket lines. It's that time of year again where we fall back because it's the end of daylight saving time. But some health experts want to stop the time change. Jared Hill has more on how to cope with it.
Everyone has an opinion about changing the clocks.
I do like waking up with the sun in the morning, but it sucks having the dark nights. I think we should get rid of it.
It's really depressing. I'll gladly trade having sun at 6 a.m. for having it at 6 p.m.
Most Americans are not in favor of daylight saving time. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine is among groups urging lawmakers to eliminate seasonal time changes and enact permanent standard time.
On permanent standard time, we have more light in the morning, and we know that morning light is best for our mood and for our health. The second reason is that darkness in the morning actually has some safety risks. The third reason is because the alignment of the rising and setting of the sun is more consistent with our internal clock, people sleep better.
Poor sleep contributes to chronic health issues, including cardiovascular disease, diabetes, obesity, as well as anxiety and depression.
While some experts say the autumn change can be easier to manage, there's still some tips to make falling back feel a bit better.
That starts with getting at least 7 hours of sleep at night before and after the time change, and maintaining a consistent sleep schedule.
Adjust the timing of your daily routines and time cues right away starting on Sunday. Set your clock back 1 hour the evening before the time change so that when you wake up, it's easy to get on that new schedule. And then spend some time outdoors, get that morning light.
Bright light will help set your internal clock to the time change, which will help with sleep and being alert. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
Well, you might not want to spend a whole lot of time out in that bright light early tomorrow morning because we're going to see some of the coldest air we've seen so far this season. That's why we've issued a weather impact advisory, because we've got a freeze warning now that's been upgraded with some frost advisories across central Arkansas. I showed you this map at the top of the show. Frost advisory for the Little Rock metro area surrounding that, getting about to as far south as portions of Jefferson County down into south central Arkansas. Over west central Arkansas, those cities like Russellville, Hot Springs, Mena included in that freeze warning. Clinton and Batesville included in that freeze warning as well. That extends into northwest Arkansas. Now, where you see those areas shaded in that white, even that pink and purple in northwest Arkansas, that's freeze possible to freeze likely. Well, we'll see those temperatures as low as 27 degrees and up to around that 32 degree mark, 33 degree mark in central Arkansas with more of this blue. That's where that frost is possible. We'll see middle to even some upper 30s. We'll see some frost potential again Monday morning, not as widespread as that frost and freeze potential we see tomorrow morning, but Monday will offer another cool start. The good news is after Monday morning, the mornings ahead do warm up a bit closer to average for the middle part of the week, above average, waking up in the 50s by the end of the week, and we'll see those afternoon highs warming up as well. So if you weren't a fan of how cool it was today, can't say tomorrow is going to be that much better. The difference is we get more sunshine tomorrow, so that helps, but we're back in those upper 60s by Monday, more of the 70s through the rest of the week when that southerly flow returns, because right now we have that northerly wind flow behind that cold front that moved through today. But tomorrow you got to deal with one more day of these cooler than normal temperatures, middle to upper 50s from the northwestern half of the state, lower 60s for the southwestern half, northeastern to southwestern, mostly sunny skies, a very cold start to the morning. We have the freeze warning and frost advisories. Could possibly see another round of frost on Monday morning, but we warm up to the 60s under sunny skies. We'll see more of those lower to middle 70s through the week ahead. That next best chance of rain looks like it could come at the top of next weekend, with another cool down possible, bringing those temperatures back into the 60s by the end of next weekend.
The Pentagon has given the White House the okay to give Ukraine long-range Tomahawk missiles. Now it's up to President Trump. Earlier this month, he said he didn't want to send the missiles because it could negatively affect U.S. stockpiles. Melissa Bell has more.
The Pentagon's given the White House its green light for giving Kyiv Tomahawk missiles, saying that this would not damage U.S. stockpiles. It was last month when President Zelensky had visited Washington and gone home empty-handed that there'd been a lot of surprise at the fact that President Trump should announce that, contrary to what he'd been saying before, he would not be providing Ukraine with Tomahawks because of that fear of U.S. stockpiles being damaged. Now, still, even with this Pentagon green light, of course, the decision remains President Trump. And there is some indication that his wariness with Russia is growing more intense. We saw for the first time last month him slap sanctions on Russian oil firms, given his frustration with the lack of progress that Russians have been making towards starting peace talks. The question now, whether he will move that step further and authorize those Tomahawks that the Ukrainians have been asking for some time. They believe that this could play a significant part in furthering their strategy of taking on oil and energy installations in Russia. There's been a spike, record high gas prices as a result of some of those strikes. They believe that this not only helps prevent Russia from funding, from feeding its war effort, but also brings some more pain of the war to Russians as well. The point of the Tomahawk, says President Zelensky, would be to level the playing field to get a fairer deal ahead of the end of the war.
A peaches recall now issued across the country after listeria concerns. This fruit is grown in California, sold by Moonlight Companies and Kroger. And the recall includes peaches sold between September 16th through October 29th. The fruit was sold both individually with PLU stickers and in multi-packs. If you or anyone has these specific peaches, you should throw them out immediately or return them and request a refund. The Food and Drug Administration said yesterday it's taking action to restrict the use of prescription fluoride supplements. The FDA's move follows a directive from the government's Make America Healthy Again Commission to assess the risks and benefits of the products. The FDA now says kids younger than 3 years old and older kids at low or moderate risk for tooth decay should avoid taking fluoride products like drops or tablets. The agency sent notices to several companies warning them to not market the products to kids in those groups. The FDA is also telling healthcare professionals it recommends against the use of fluoride supplements for those groups.